This is the Dell XPS 17, an elegant ultrabook with beast-like performance. I've been using it for the past couple of weeks, and this is my full review. So if you've watched my unboxing video of the Dell XPS 17, link in the description below by the way, then you know I'm a big fan of the design. It's super sleek and modern, which really fits the aesthetic and reputation of the XPS brand. The laptop has a strong wedge-shaped body, which is complemented by a matte silver finish and a shiny Dell logo on the top. On the sides, however, the laptop has a brushed stainless steel finish. I will say though, the matte finish on the laptop is prone to scratches, so you might want to be careful with the things you put near or on the laptop. On the bottom of the laptop, you have rubber feet that help the computer stay in place. These also lift the laptop up a little bit from the surface of the table, which really helps with air ventilation, as the air from the air vent can escape from the sides. In addition, you get a shiny XPS logo on the bottom, but I really doubt how many times you're actually going to turn the laptop over and look at it, so maybe a different place would have been better. In terms of ports, on the left side you have two USB-C ports, and on the right you have a headphone jack, an SD card reader, and two other USB-C ports. I find this selection of ports pretty appropriate, as these are the only ones I use on a day-to-day basis. But if I ever need that HDMI or USB 8 port, then I can use an adapter included in the box with the laptop. I really like the fact that an adapter is shipped with the laptop, as it reduces the need for me to go out and buy another product, especially when the laptop is as expensive as it is. One major drawback to the 17-inch laptop is its weight and lack of portability. Now don't get me wrong, this laptop is extremely small for a 17-inch ultrabook, but at 5.5 pounds, this is definitely not your take me everywhere type of setup. Due to the large display, this will likely take up a lot of space in your backpack and add a ton of unnecessary weight. So if portability is your main focus in a laptop, you'd probably be better buying off an XPS 13 or maybe the XPS 15. One thing I noticed when opening up the laptop is you run into this very annoying problem. The XPS 17 doesn't have any tab or slot to use when opening up the laptop. This often results in a hard time opening up the magnetic flap, as well as a ton of fingerprints getting on the display during the process. But once you properly open up the laptop, you're greeted with a fantastic trackpad, keyboard, and display. The trackpad reminds me of the trackpad found on the MacBook. It's super nice to use and also makes excellent use of the available space, stretching all the way up against the keyboard and the bottom chin of the laptop. The keyboard on the XPS 17 is also amazing. It has a great amount of key travel as well as a good and smooth typing experience. The key switches are quiet, which is a good thing for meetings when you have to keep the excess noise down. Personally, I prefer the XPS keyboard over the butterfly system on my Mac. It's generally better and it's a lot more satisfying to use. The keyboard also houses the fingerprint sensor on the top right, which is a fast and reliable way of logging in with Windows Hello, but you can also use the camera above the display to log in as well. The keyboard on the Dell XPS 17 also includes a backlight, which is pretty useful when it's dark, making typing much easier for your eyes. On the left and right side of the keyboard, you have the speakers. My only problem with these is the small holes on the grills, which collect dirt and grit really easily, but take a lot of effort to clean out. The speakers themselves sound really good with low distortion and high clarity. They get loud and are great for various things, such as attending meetings or watching movies and TV shows. Around the keyboard and speakers, you have this carbon fiber pattern, which is actually just a sticker, so I worry it might peel away in the future. Nevertheless, it looks good and adds to the overall modern aesthetic of the laptop. And then above the fantastic keyboard and trackpad, you have the display. The display on the XPS 17 is superb and marvelous to look at. First of all, it's a 17-inch 4K panel, which makes everything you do look very, very sharp. Having a large panel with a 16:10 aspect ratio and more than 9 million pixels is without a doubt a pleasure to look at. The lines are super clear and there's a lot of definition in the shapes and contours of objects. The display is so large in fact that when you're using the laptop, it kind of makes you feel like you have a proper monitor set up in front of you ready to use. In terms of color accuracy, the display is exceptional. It supports 100% of the Adobe RGB color space as well as Dolby Vision, and it's Display HDR 500 certified, meaning it can support proper HDR video playback. All this basically means is that the display can produce clear and bright colors that have an appealing look to them. In my testing, however, the laptop seemed to have a slight green tint when compared to the MacBook, and when the two were placed side by side, the colors on the XPS seemed a bit less natural, but they were brighter and had more contrast. Nevertheless, this is purely self-preference, and anyways, you can tweak the settings on the display with the Dell Premiere Color app that's pre-installed on the laptop. The 4K panel also has a max brightness of about 500 nits, making it very easy to see in bright environments or outdoors. And it can get pretty dim as well when needed at night. On top of all this, the display is touchscreen, which might be useful for quickly clicking some buttons with your fingers if needed. However, due to the lack of a folding tablet mode on the XPS 17, the real-world use cases of a touchscreen seem pretty minimal to me. And even if you use the touchscreen, you won't have to worry about scratches or major damage to the screen, as the glass used is Gorilla Glass 6. And to tie all these amazing display features together, you have the super slim bezels. This is one area on the XPS 17 where the laptop is basically the best you can get on the market. The thin bezels really help to immerse you into the content, and they don't distract like thicker bezels would on other laptops. There's also no branding below the display, which is a great improvement over the last generation of XPS laptops. The bezels are also pretty uniform all around the edges, except the top where the camera module and infrared sensors are held. The camera is 720p, so it's really nothing special. At the bare minimum, it should get you through your meetings, but don't expect too much from it. The only other downside that I can think of the super slim bezels is accidental touches. When you go to click the power button or one of the function keys, you might accidentally touch the display and open up an app, but that's basically nitpicking at this point. Altogether, the display is phenomenal and easily one of the best I've ever seen on a laptop. If you really value display quality, then the Dell XPS 17 will not disappoint. And if you're enjoying the video so far, it'd be highly appreciated if you subscribe to the channel. From simple web browsing all the way to complex video editing and 3D rendering, the Dell XPS 17 can handle basically anything you throw at it extremely well. The 10th generation Intel Core i7 and its 6 cores provide excellent performance while still being power efficient. Along with that, you have 32GB of RAM and a 1TB SSD, which makes multitasking an ease, even with demanding apps such as DaVinci Resolve and Blender 3D. The NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1650 Ti in my XPS 17 is great. It handles video editing, 3D software, and Chrome tabs like a champ, and only really starts to slow down when files get large and when it's under prolonged periods of stress. If the GTX 1650 Ti is not enough for your needs, then you can always upgrade to the GTX 20 series. The GTX 20 series is only specific to the 17-inch models, but it still is a lot more powerful and a lot more efficient. When the laptop is being used at max performance for a long period of time, then the fans will kick in and the computer will automatically thermal throttle in order to ensure longevity of the components. Sometimes, however, when I'm not really doing anything at all on the computer and it's idle, the fans will still randomly kick in, which is kind of strange. Also, when you've been using the laptop at like peak performance for a long period of time, it will get kind of uncomfortable to touch and use on your lap, so you might want to be careful with that and use it on a table maybe. But at the end of the day, the performance on the Dell XPS 17 is great and should handle basically everything you throw at it with ease. So considering the large 4K screen as well as the powerful components, the Dell XPS 17 has outstanding battery life. On a normal day, it usually lasts me 8 or 9 hours while multitasking for school stuff like attending Zoom meetings, taking notes, or finishing assignments. However, when I work on 3D renders or I edit videos, that number usually shrinks down to anywhere from 5 to 6 hours, really depending on the task and how demanding it is. But if I ever need to stretch the battery life out a bit, then I can use the battery menu in Windows, which is really helpful. I can set the laptop to use less battery by lowering the performance setting and setting it to best battery, or I could utilize the maximum power of the CPU and GPU with the best performance setting. When the battery does eventually run out though, you get the luxury of using a 120 watt power brick and a cable that can plug into any USB-C port on the laptop. No matter what side your power outlet is on, you can easily use the USB-C port from that side. Having that 120 watt power brick is very handy as the laptop can charge pretty fast from it and it provides the demanding components the energy they need. One really cool feature is that the laptop has an LED light below the display flap that basically lets you know when it's plugged in and also when the battery is low. The wire itself also has an LED light to let you know when it's plugged into the wall outlet and if the power is flowing. The laptop using USB-C is also pretty useful when I want to charge other devices, such as my phone or iPad. It charges them slowly, but at least it gets the job done. So in conclusion, with its modern design, large 4K display, and excellent performance, the Dell XPS 17 is designed for people who want a desktop experience in a laptop form factor. If you want a big and bright display as well as excellent performance without really having to worry about bad battery life, then this laptop is perfect for you. However, if portability is key and you're kind of on a budget, then maybe the smaller XPS models will serve you better without breaking the bank. Or you could even look at some other brands of laptops that you really like. In simpler terms, if you're willing to spend a few extra bucks on a laptop and you can fully take advantage of the amazing features, then the Dell XPS 17 will not disappoint. Anyways, that's it for my review of the Dell XPS 17. If you enjoyed this review, then make sure to like and share the video, as well as subscribe to my channel for more content like this. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section down below. Thank you very much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video as well as gained some useful information from it. But anyways, I'll see you next time in another video.